Happy Sunday. Welcome everyone to YouTube's Q&A information exchange with me, Andrew Spirit. So Sundays, I'm doing lives now on YouTube for your chance to just get some general information on spiritual development, energy, guides and angels, how psychic mediums work, even a bit about healing, intuitive Reiki. I'm not doing psychic messages on Sundays though. This is purely for information sharing and answering your general questions about spiritual development. So post whatever questions you have, your interests, whatever you're curious about, and I'll answer you live as we go along. If there's anything I can't answer right away, I'll either find out for you from one of my healer or medium friends or colleagues and get that information to you. If necessary, I can always put you in touch with one of them. But the reason for this Sunday live is just to grow the group and share information. So anybody who needs some just more information about spirit or doesn't have anybody to talk to or discuss maybe certain things they're experiencing or any gifts they may have, this is the place for free resources. I can recommend either some spiritual community groups, online groups for you, just answer some of your general questions. So anything except for live psychic mediumship messages. And please share with like-minded friends, anybody who's looking for someone to talk to or a place to ask their questions. Judgment-free, it's non-religious. This is just spirit, energy, guides, angels, mediumship, energy healing, anything along those lines. There are a couple of things that I'm not experiencing or knowledgeable about, which would include tarot and crystals. I don't work with tools of divination very much, a little bit with cards, but not much. But for the most part, I should be able to answer many of your questions. And like I said, if not, I can find out for you and put you in touch with someone who does know. So please post your questions on spiritual development now here live, and I will answer in as much detail as possible. There's no silly question. There's no strange question. This is the place for like-minded, spiritually inclined people that would just like more information, ask questions, share, connect with other spiritual groups online, and whatever else I can help you with along those lines. So this is a live I'm doing every Sunday now. It's not always the exact same time, but it's typically sometime between late afternoon and early evening on Sunday evenings. Thursdays I'm live on Facebook, but that is purely with giving psychic and mediumship messages to whoever I'm guided to by spirit. So Thursdays are the lives for psychic messages on Facebook, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sundays is for YouTube, general Q&A, information exchange, sharing, and just general questions on spiritual development. So if that interests you, or you know someone who's looking for a person to connect with that can help, please have them join in this group. And if you subscribe, you should be notified every time I do go live on YouTube. I do try and give a heads up somewhere between half an hour and an hour at least when possible. But like I said, for Sundays, it's not always possible to be live at the exact same time. So let's see, we've got someone there. Hi, Susie. Oh, from Florida. Welcome. Nice to connect with you. And like I said, this is open to anybody like-minded who just has general questions. This is the place to ask. I'll do my best to answer every one of them or find out for you and get back to you. And if you come up with any questions during the week, keep a note of them, write them down, and join me the following Sunday whenever you can. I'm hoping to grow this group a lot bigger, similar to my Thursday lives on Facebook, and just share some information and help where I can. And if you'd like to know more about me and what I do, my website is mediumblessings.weebly.com. And my Facebook name is the exact same name as my YouTube name. It's Medium Blessings Andrew Spirit. And my website has a little bit more about me and what I do, what my offerings are. I'm a spiritual development teacher. I'm also a psychic medium and energy healer or channeler. And I also love to do one-on-one mentoring, facilitate meditation circles, and I like to help out where I can. So if you have any questions, spiritually inclined questions, spiritual development, energy, angels, guides, like I said, post here now on the live. I'll do my best to answer, and I will stay on for as long as I can and see what the general interest is. I've only been doing this maybe 2 months, so group's still pretty small, so lots of opportunity to get all your questions answered. But please share, spread the word. And if you're also interested in listening to Psychic Messages live, I have a Facebook page that's every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you need more information or my links again, just message me and I'll be happy to post them for you. But for now, I'll just be online for a while and just wait for your questions. So hi, Svava, nice to see you as well. I didn't realize you lived in Maine. Okay, because I've seen your name on the lives a few times. The name is familiar. Okay, let's look at your question here. How someone who doesn't know their ability, how to sense spirit, whether it's pictures in your head or feelings in your body. Okay, so everybody detects spirit in a unique way. There is clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, seeing inner seeing in your mind's eye, or physically seeing with your physical eyes. Some people see spirit physically with their physical eyes. For me personally, my strengths are clairvoyance and claircognizance, so I see everything in my third eye or my mind's eye. And also information just lands or appears or arrives in my mind without me necessarily knowing how or when it got there. I just know without knowing how I know. Sometimes I feel a little bit as well, but I'm not a true empath, so I don't get super strong feelings, but sometimes I do get a physical feeling or sensation as well. But predominantly it's just clairvoyance and claircognizance or inner knowing. So if you're not sure about your ability, you can, meditation is a very, very effective tool to practice fine-tuning your extrasensory gifts. And a lot of people do see pictures in their head. That's basically clairvoyance, seeing in your inner eye or your mind's eye. Your body also gives you sensations or signals. It's knowing by feeling, kind of like an empath. So hope that answers your question, Svava, but if you'd like more detail, then ask away if that helped you, or if you need more clarity or more specifics. And hello to RZ from Lyndhurst. Okay, welcome. So some of you may have been on this live before, the YouTube live. This is, okay. Let's get to your question, RZ. Wondering how I feel about crystals. So crystals, I don't personally use crystals, but from what I understand, and some of the healer friends I have that do use crystals, they are very effective. I do carry crystals on me for other reasons, for example, helping me with Wi-Fi signals and certain intentions and protections. So I do have a small collection of my own crystals, but I'm nowhere near an expert, so I don't know enough to teach other people, but I do find crystals very helpful. I think they're very powerful and very useful. They're natural. They have some very interesting and high vibrations, so I do recommend crystals absolutely. I keep, aside from crystals, I also have something called a orgonite, which contains crystals and other metals in it. And it's also one of the things it's used for, besides protection, is for Wi-Fi's. And this is the one I have that a friend of mine, she's a shaman healer, she made this, and it has crystals inside of it, as well as metal copper filings and maybe a few other things. And it's basically made inside a resin that hardens. So this sits on my laptop permanently all the time, doesn't leave it. And right now, as I'm using my phone, it's basically, I'm right in front of my laptop anyway, so it's right beside my phone, resting on my laptop. I also have a much bigger one downstairs, right on top of my modem for my Wi-Fi signal. It's probably about maybe 6 times the size of this one. Similar deal, but more stuff in it, more crystals. It's much bigger. And that sits right above the top of my Wi-Fi. Some people are very sensitive to Wi-Fi signals, and especially the higher gig you go, like 5 gig, 4 gig, it can disrupt your natural antenna or your third eye. So the orgonite I get, so there's a place in Smith Falls. I'm not sure if you're in Maine, RZ. I think you said you're in Maine. No, you're in Lyndhurst. So there's a huge 4,000 square foot metaphysical store in Smiths Falls, Eastern Ontario. They might sell some orgonite. The person who made mine, she's got some challenges with her health and her hands, so she had to stop making them. But there's a few metaphysical stores that should make them or sell them. If you struggle to find somebody, then just maybe message me, and I'll see if I can find someone that's not too far away. But Smith Falls, I don't think is too far from Lyndhurst. So Global Culture Trading Post is a great store to visit. They're on Facebook as well, so maybe check out the Facebook page and message them. If they don't have, they'll be able to tell you, because they get things from India, Morocco, and all over the place. The States, they have a lot of amazing things. It's an amazing place. So see if you have any luck with that. So it's Global Culture Trading Post. And like I said, they're very, very helpful for people who are sensitive to Wi-Fi. And with the 5 gig that's now in place with most Wi-Fi and cell phones, it's disruptive. You may not necessarily feel or sense it, but it disrupts our natural Wi-Fi, our third eye. It is disruptive, so it's good to have crystals and orgonites to neutralize and reduce the effect of the Wi-Fi signals. And they also have other protective properties and purposes as well. So I find them helpful, and I definitely recommend them. And they have many uses. You can use them to build, if you know how to do it, to build energy grids for healing. Crystals vibrate. Some of them have very, very powerful energies, depending where they're from and what they're made of. So I absolutely recommend them. Even though I don't really use them or teach with them, I do have my own for certain things. So I make use of them. So absolutely. You have another question? Okay. How I feel about tarot cards. So for some reason, tarot and me do not work together. We don't work well. I did try and learn. I got a tarot deck, and I even wrote down the basic minor and major arcana, a little brief description. I made some notes in a book. I tried to learn tarot, but tarot I find is more, I was going to say rigid, but that's not the right word. You have to really study and understand the cards and the basic story of tarot, I find. But for whatever reason, tarot and me it actually got in my way and blocked me, and I'm not meant to use tarot. Same goes with crystals and other things. I find tools of divination get in my way, even pendulums. I can teach basic pendulum. I can teach people how to use pendulum on a basic level, introductory. But tools and me just they seem to get more in my way than be of assistance. So I tend to just connect energetically or telepathically, and I'm meant to leave the tools alone. I have only one single deck of animal totem cards, which I rarely use. Once in a while, I'm called to pull them, either for myself, maybe for someone else, but it's very rare. So for me, tarot doesn't work, but for other mediums, I know it can be extremely effective. So there's no right or wrong tool. Tarot can be very, very helpful depending on who uses it and if you're meant to use it. One of my biggest mentors who taught me mediumship tried to use tarot. She was a very, very good medium, and the cards just wouldn't allow her to work with them. And what she had discovered from a previous life, she used to be a master tarot reader in another lifetime, but this particular lifetime, she was not meant to use them. So Tarot said no to her. So no right or wrong. It's just you got to use what you're drawn to, and it's good to experiment with different tools. Try them out: cards, crystals, tarots, pendulums, even dowsing rods. It's good to experiment. So tarot and me don't work together, but it could be fantastic for somebody else. So tarot is not bad at all. It can be very, very helpful and give more detail. Some of my medium friends I know can do mediumship, and they use tarot in addition as well when they feel the need. Okay. Okay, Shilpi, you had a question about your friend. She told you about a backache, and then you've had severe backache. So this has happened to you often. So what you could be doing is, unintentionally, you could be very, very empathic and taking on their you could be taking on their basically their energy, their feeling. So you've got to basically just practice protecting your energy field, or like white lighting or shielding yourself and not taking on other people's energy. So you could just be, you have the ability to sense and feel what other people are feeling in the moment. You've just got to realize that when you pick up on somebody's discomfort, you've got to tell guides or spirit or the divine, it doesn't matter who you tell or what you call them, whoever you're drawn to, whether it's God, angels, source, you just got to tell them, this is not mine. I'm just detecting that for my understanding. It has to leave. Take it away for me. It's not mine. Doesn't belong to me. So it's just practicing shielding yourself from taking on other people's energy. And it's not a right, it's not a good or bad thing. It's just you are very aware and sensitive to other people's feelings or conditions. You've just got to be firm with your guides or with the angels and say, this doesn't belong to me, take it away. It does take practice, so try that. Hopefully that should help you. It's just getting to know what to do with the energy, letting it know it's not yours to hang on to, it's got to leave you. So try practicing that for a while and see if that helps you out. Okay. And thanks for your note there, Susie. So if you find the YouTube channels helpful, like and subscribe. And if anybody else is looking for some help or direction, I do have some free resources I can help them with, even some online spiritual community groups. There's quite a few of them I'm part of, and some of them, there are some talented mediums, witches, healers that are happy to share information, anything from spells, protective spells, healing spells, smudging, cleansing, clearing. They'd be happy to share information with you for free if you join these online community groups. So depending where you are, or even they're online, so it doesn't really matter where you live. Some of the groups have members from countries from all over the place. So I do have some online groups that I could suggest or recommend if you're interested. Lots of free resources, a chance to ask your questions. So please share with anybody who's doesn't have anyone to talk to, because some people have certain gifts and abilities, and they may live in an environment where there's nobody else like them, and they can't share out of a fear of being ridiculed or judged, and they just need like-minded people to connect with. So I can help with that as well. So it's nice to just connect people to like minds, and the more we connect, the more we can spread out and share that energy. So yeah, just spread the word, share, and I'll see what I can do to help. And one of the things that I was taught is when you're working with spirit and guides, you've got to be confident when you deal with them, and you've got to let them know who's in charge. So you are in charge of your guides. You are from source. So when you show fear, it's easier for energies to influence and distract you and kind of bully you a little bit. But if you're firm and you let them know it's your rules, you're in charge of your guides. If you show them that you're strong, It's usually easier to manage your energy. For empaths, it is harder to tolerate large crowds, large energies, but you can work on ways to improve that and protect your energy, because it's not really good to isolate and hermit just to get away from the energies that affect people who are very sensitive to them. We need to connect. We're a social species, so we need to connect with others. So we've got to find ways just to keep ourselves energetically healthy and in good shape so that we can walk amongst crowds and be in the field, so to speak, and just deal with the energies that are around us, because we can't always kind of control the energy all the time. Sometimes we find ourselves in places we don't necessarily enjoy, but we may have to spend a bit of time there before we get to move on. Do I have any resources for dream analysis? That's a good question. Dream analysis. I don't typically do dream analysis, and I seldom remember mine, but dream analysis, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to recommend, there's a group I'm in. It's called the Shadow and Light Collective. It's an online group. There's quite a few healers in there. I'm sure one of them may be able to put you in touch with someone who does dream analysis. I don't know anyone specifically offhand, but the Shadow and Light Collective is a group based in Western Ontario, I believe. So maybe join that group and ask in there. I will see if I can find anything else out. I'll ask some of my friends. Dream analysis, I'll put the word out, but just as another option, the Shadow and Light Collective is a group I'm in, and there's a whole bunch of readers, mediums that often post and do free resources for other members in the group. So if you ask in there, it's a big group, a lot of members. They may be able to direct you, and if I do find anything else out myself, I'll also let you know, but try that group and see how you go there. Okay, if I have the empathy, how to use or help people. Shilpi's question, if I have the empathy, how to use or help. So, okay, so figuring out how to help people without taking on their energy and getting drained by it. So one thing, yeah, the group's on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, RZ. It's on Facebook. You'll have to request to join. I think it's a private group, but yep, Facebook. You'll find it on Facebook. Let me know if you don't find it. If you have empathy, so firstly, if you do have empathy, one of the important things is you need someone's permission to share with them or try and help them. So unless someone asks you or is willing to accept help, you can't really just walk up to them and tell them what to do, or you can kind of approach them and offer, if you happen to be sensing something, picking up something from someone and you feel guided to help them in some way, you can approach them and ask them, tell them what you're sensing. If you're comfortable, you don't have to do this. If you feel comfortable, you can tell them what you're picking up of them. You can tell them what you do and how you feel it. And then you can offer them some help and tell them how you may offer them. If they give you permission, great. If not, then you just leave them be. So as long as you have their permission and they're willing to work with you, connect with you, that's all you need. So I hope that helps you, Shilpi. Unless you want more specifics, let me know if you want a little bit more detail or if I didn't answer your question completely. So you can always make yourself known and available, but all you need is their permission. As long as someone's willing to accept your help and they're open to you, that's the only important thing. Okay. Okay. And let's see if I can. Okay, I still got to figure out this So if you do need either my website or Facebook page, it's so my Facebook page is the exact same name as my YouTube name. It's Medium Blessings Andrew Spirit, and there's a space on either side of the dash. And the my website is mediumblessings.weebly.com, or if you just go to Google and you type in Medium Blessings, you'll find me on Google, and there'll be a button to my website, and you'll see one of the pictures on there will be of me, so you'll know it's my page. Once in a while, I get scammers on Facebook during the lives. They copy my profile and they message people and they friend request them. So just be careful of that when you're on Facebook. I will never friend request you directly or tell you I have a message or reading for you. I'll leave that up to you. So just be mindful of that. And if you're not sure, just message me if you do receive anything. But it's usually an impersonator. It happens from time to time. But we're going to focus just more on Q&A tonight. So yeah, questions. If you can't think of any now, if something comes to you during the week, just make a note of them, write them down, and maybe collect a couple. And then the next time you're able to join on a Sunday live, you can ask your questions. And same with encouraging your friends. Send them the link if they're interested, or have them subscribe. I'll try and give a heads up as always, hopefully as much as 45 minutes to an hour before I go live on Sundays. I just can't do it the exact same time because Sundays are a bit more flexible and I'm not always doing the same thing at the same place. Thursdays at least are standard 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the Psychic Messages. I also got a book. I have a book I wrote 5 years ago. It's available online. I have copies with me in Brockville, Eastern Ontario, but it's also available on Amazon and on Balboa Press website. And that is called Simply Spirit. That book is a collection of my journaling as my consciousness and the gifts were evolving. I did some journaling on and off for maybe about 6 years and eventually collected all of that up and then added a little bit more a few years ago and put it into a book form. And it's a book you can open in the middle, the end, the beginning, and start on any chapter you like. Every chapter is unique, so you don't have to follow it in a sequence. And at the back of the book, it's got some of my practicing in the earlier years of when I was practicing channeling, asking Source or God questions and channeling the answers. I kept all of those questions and I put them in the back of the book. There's 30 of them in the Q&A section at the back of the book. And part of the book also has a bit of channeling as well. And it's not a huge long book to read. It's a fairly easy read. And there's 2 books online with the same name. Mine is the one that has the beach sand and the blue sky with the clouds. It's right on the coast on a beach, and it's got Simply Spirit. It's got my name on it. So if you are interested in a spiritual read, it's also very helpful and insightful. Have a look at the reviews maybe as well and get an idea of some of the reviews. And if that interests you, you'll probably find a lot of helpful, useful information. I've had really good feedback from it, so check that out as well. Shulpi's question, how to let go of the dead loved ones, stop thinking every time and being sad. So depending on how close the person was, some people need more time than others to let go and detach. So there's no right or wrong way or length of time. Some can do it in a couple of years. Some need 10 or 15 years. Everyone's different. You don't have to try and forget. There's nothing wrong with remembering. You can remember them every single day. The only important thing is doing it in a very detached, healthy way. So if you want to greet them or talk to loved ones every single day and just remember them for the bit, that's fine. But as long as you do it without feeling bad or sad that they are on the other side, because they're usually much, much better off when they cross over. They don't have sickness. They don't have physical restrictions. They're a lot more aware. They have all the love and the protection they need. So they're not like, it's not like they're suffering. They're not in a physical body and they don't have the same restrictions human beings do. So if you just realize that and understand that they're getting all the guidance and help that they need, that should help you remember them in a healthy way. And like I said, you can think about them every single day. just in a healthier way, a non-attached way. So you will reunite with them again eventually when it's your turn to cross over. So it's just about how you remember them. So if you're just more freeing and detached about it, that's all you need to do. You can think about them every day. It's just how you do it. So hope that helped you, Shilpi. Hope that answered your question enough. If not, like I said to anybody else, if you need more clarification, just fire away. And RZ, I've had that question come up quite often. People on the other side can hear, sense, feel, and receive whatever you send at them in an instant, whether you do it verbally, out loud, or in your mind. They receive it immediately. They don't have any barriers or restrictions. They don't have the physical time and space restriction like we do. So that's one instance where you don't need a middle person or a medium. You can think telepathically, feel, or just say or send a message to a loved one out loud or in your mind, and they get it immediately, instantaneous. It's just the other way around. We often need the help of like a medium, because most people are not accustomed or taught how to receive messages from the other side and interpret that energy. So from you to them, they get it instantly. You can do it directly. You don't need a middle person. It's just when it comes the other way around, it's helpful to get a medium, because most people are not trained or accustomed to recognizing the response and interpreting it from a universal energy language into like words or expressions we can understand. So good question, and I do get asked that from time to time. So yeah, they get everything you send at them. Okay. Okay. Actually, I just thought of a question. I just want to get an opinion here. With the YouTube Q&A, Sunday seems to, for me, is the best possible time I can do this. Thursdays I've got lives. Saturdays are out of the question. That's too difficult, and I find a lot of people it's one of the busiest days, so they're too preoccupied. So for me, Sunday evening seems to be the easiest to reach some people. So I was just wondering if you feel the same, if Sundays seem to be good. During the week can be a lot more challenging, because we're working and then we're doing other things, and it's generally busier, and other people are working, and then they got to come home, eat, feed their families, etc. So for me, Sundays seem to work the best. And maybe this is just early days, so I'm just wondering if this is the best day, in fact, to reach people and grow the group. Maybe it just needs more time. But for me, Sunday evenings is the easiest for me to accommodate. Just wanted to get your opinion on that. And it does get complicated when you're in different time zones. So we can't really help every time zone, every person in every place. But I was just curious. Okay, Shilpi. Oh, so you're one of the people that lives in a very different time zone, 1:30 in the morning. Okay. Wow. So I'm in Toronto time, Canada, Ontario, Canada. So if you're unable to, I guess sometimes replays might be helpful, but if the replay is more convenient, watching the replay, the only thing is it's not live, but you're welcome to send me questions. Maybe even if you happen to catch a replay, Shilpi, but yeah, the time zone itself, the time is hard to, okay, you're in Austria. So yeah, so the time zones are hard to accommodate, but the day of the week was more what I was interested in. So thanks for your input, RZ, as well. So we'll just see how it goes, see how the group grows. I might need a bit of time. I don't remember how long it took for the Facebook group, but it's a different kettle of fish. That's the Psychic Messages Live, and that's a big draw for a lot of people. This is different. It's more Q&A, information exchange. So it is two different things. So we'll just see. I'm going to keep doing this on the Sundays and just see how it goes. And I guess I won't know until I do it for a while and see what the interest is. Hi, Joanne. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. We've had a few good questions, so maybe take a look at the messages. Read all the questions we've had so far. I've had some good questions, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe and share, and see how big we can get the group, and see what else. With more people and more energy, you're going to get more questions, more detailed and more varied questions. It'll get more interesting, just like the lives do. Whenever there's new people, new energies connecting, that's why I like having new people joining all the time. It's good to work with different energies and not always the same. So the Thursdays can be very interesting as well. New energies are great. It's good to connect with all kinds of new people from different countries, get a flavor, a sense of their energy, and yeah, just see, spread out as far as we can go. So I'll stick around. I'm still going to be on for a little bit. So any more questions come to mind, you're welcome to post. If you don't have any right now, don't worry about it. Don't force it. You may come up with something in the next few days. If that happens, just write it down, keep a note of it until next time, and then we can go from there. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Danielle. Okay. Thanks for your comment. Okay, RZ. Yeah. Okay. So I take it you've probably been on my lives on Thursdays, I think. So no, it doesn't really bother me. Because basically some people, I guess they know that there's anywhere between 50, 80, 100 people or more tuning in. So the message feed can move slower, then it can pick up really fast. So I don't see every single message. So I kind of don't mind. Some people, I can understand why they repeat the question. Just, I guess they want to make sure I saw it. And hi, Josie. Nice to have you join us. Welcome. If you've just joined in, no problem. Sundays, I'm doing Q&A now. So if you have any general questions about spiritual development, this is what we're doing, and hoping to grow the group bigger, and just help out with general questions, free resources, information exchange, anything except psychic messages. That's for Thursdays on Facebook. But this is Q&A and info exchange. And just to finish off with RZ. So yeah, I don't really mind. And some people are going through some really, really tough stuff. So they are more eager, or I don't want to use the word desperate. I mean, maybe I can, but trying to find a nicer word, desperate or eager for an answer or some solution. So there's a lot of people that are in dire straits and they need help fast. So some of them tend to ask repeatedly. So it doesn't bother me because I kind of get it. And some of them are like really in a bind. But Spirit guides me. They decide who I'm going to and what to share. So I wish I could just pick and choose every question and answer everyone that I would like to, but I understand where they're coming from, and some people have been through like stuff that's so challenging, like worse than I've been through. So I don't really mind. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm so accustomed to it now. Not annoying to me at all. So, which I'm happy about. So that's a good thing. Okay. Yep. So Josie, if you do want to watch the replay or the first few minutes, I usually just blab and explain about the live and what I'm offering and doing here, but you probably have a good idea already. But I'm going to do this every Sunday. It's not always the exact same time, somewhere between late afternoon, early evening, but I try and give a heads up of at least 45 minutes, maybe an hour before I go live, as much as possible. But if you like and subscribe, I think if you subscribe, it'll notify you when I go live, same as on Facebook. Okay. Have you thought about making your own collective group on Facebook? I've thought about it a few times, but one of the things is it's time consuming and it requires a lot of energy and time. So I would have to consistently be in there putting new ideas, new stuff. So I've thought about it, but at the moment, I don't have the energy or the time to do that in addition to what I'm doing. And also, I'm in a bunch of other groups that I do free stuff for as well. And it'd be a little bit too much for me right now. I don't have the energy to put into that as well. So I find it's nice to join other groups and I give my offerings and do my freebies there, but then I don't have to continually maintain it. I'm also I resist technology a little bit. I'm a huge fan of doing things in person. I do online stuff because it's the way to reach people, but technology is a bit of not a challenge for me. Well, maybe it is a bit of a challenge. I tend to resist it a little bit. So anything that requires me in front of a screen a long time, I don't enjoy. So I try to avoid the screen. Can't always do that, but I try to stay away from screens as much as I can. So I think that would really tap me out a bit too much at this point, but that's where I'm at right now. But who knows what'll come in the future. Shilpi's question: doesn't spirits of loved ones to be called disturb them? I think if I understand you, Shilpi, are you asking if spirits are disturbed when they are contacted? So I think if I'm understanding, when someone comes to me, for example, for a reading and they want to reach a loved one that is deceased, you're wondering if that deceased spirit of that loved one is disturbed. So let me know if I'm not understanding you right, but if I am, spirits never feel disturbed or disrupted or upset. Those in spirits don't work in the same linear time like we do. They don't use time. So whether it's day, night, they don't really mind or register what time of day it is. For them, any moment is good. So they don't mind when you connect with them because their spirit is around all the time. So whether it's 2 a.m. or 1 p.m, time is different on the other side. Our clock time, as we use it like hours on a clock, doesn't apply on the other side. On the other side, everything is in the moment and it's forever. So they really don't mind when you connect with them. They have complete freedom. They're not bound by time or distance or space. So I hope that explains it. If not, let me know. I'll try and get more specific, but hope that answered your question, Shilpi. And Susie's question: spirits of family departed many centuries, and there's no one left in the present earth to communicate with. How are spirits used? Does spirit get sad if no one ever tries to communicate with them? Okay, so spirit doesn't typically get sad at all because your soul or your higher self is connected to every being in existence, not just this planet, but everywhere in existence. So spirits never get lonely. On the other side, I don't even know what number to put it. Even if I said trillions and trillions, that might be even way too little. There's so many beings and spirit on the other side. There's no possible chance of a spirit being lonely. They're connected to everyone and everything. They can think themselves anywhere in existence, to any world, to any planet, to any timeline, to any dimension. Spirits will never get lonely. They don't need to have people in the physical to feel connected. They have way more in their world on the other side of other spirits to be with, an unfathomable number. I couldn't even tell you because I don't know. So spirit will not get sad if there's no human to communicate with them. They can communicate with an infinite number of other beings. So they are never lacking or sad or anything like that. You do get grounded souls that when they die, sometimes they hang around on the earth plane, either because they are a bit stuck or lost and need some help, or they're attached to some of the living, or they're attached to the home or the land they lived in. So they have free will. They can stay on the earth plane for a while and remain attached to certain people, places, or things. but everyone gets to their original source or their home sooner or later. Everyone gets where they need to go. Nobody is permanently stuck for eternity. Doesn't happen. Everybody has access to help whenever they choose, whenever they want it or need it. But good question. Thanks for the question. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Josie, do you ever feel we cycle back through lives with the same family group, changing roles? Absolutely, yep. I've definitely heard of that. So you get a soul group, and say one will choose to be the mom and the other one will choose to be the daughter, and they incarnate once or twice and they go through a few things, and then the next incarnation they may decide, the mom may decide, okay, this time I'll be the son, and the daughter will decide I'll be the dad, and they'll experience being in a male body, focusing on a more masculine energy, and go down again, maybe 2 more times or 10 more times. And very, very common. This is many soul groups. They'll go down in a group and each one will pick a role, kind of like when you're going to watch a play, like Shakespeare. And all the costumes, at the end of the day, everyone takes the costumes off and goes home. And then next week, there's a different show, different costume, different role. Similar with soul groups. The oversoul is basically the complete collection of all souls. So you don't get not just an oversoul of one group, the oversoul of every soul in existence. Everything ultimately comes from one source, and an oversoul is an old word, one of the words that was used to describe the source of everything before it dismembered itself. In other words, split and came down into different physical bodies or entities. And then once they're dismembered, eventually everything remembers, and in other words, regroups and goes back to source or oversoul. I haven't remembered or recalled any of my past lives. I've had a few past life regression sessions, but I don't consciously remember any of them. Some people do remember past lives. I don't. If you ever walked by someone and you've had like a deja vu where you swear you know them, but physically speaking, you've never met them in this lifetime, that's usually an example of a past life connection, where in this current life you haven't met in this lifetime, but you still feel you know them. That's just two souls that have shared either one past life or a handful of past lives that are back in the present, and they happen to cross paths, and maybe it's just a quick recognition because all their karma between each other has been cleared up and resolved. So it's just like a recognition thing. So hope that explains it. Shilpi, what do you say about heaven or hell? So from what I've gathered and been taught and learned is hell is a man-made thing. One of the reasons the concept of hell was created was to help keep people in line and keep them together as a tribe or a herd, and kind of control people's behavior to keep it more on the good side, and to dissuade people from doing what we call bad or wrong things. So hell was created to, it's kind of used as a fear tactic. So teach people that if you do wrong and do unfavorable or unpleasant things, you will end up in a situation or place called hell. So from my understanding, the only hell is the hell you make for yourself on this planet. Heaven or source is your true state, where we all come from. So for me, there's no real hell that's deep below the earth. It's not a permanent place that you will be judged or burnt, because everybody gets multiple chances to correct their karma and balance out their karma. So hope that explains it. And I see you had another question about when does the soul stop coming back. So from my understanding, when the soul has learned all the lessons and balanced out all its good karma and bad karma and learned both sides, when it's finished its assignment or soul contract, then it has the choice or option not to come back into the physical. It can remain in spirit and either come back as a guide and help other people, or go to another world and have a non-physical experience somewhere else. So when the soul's finished its homework or job or assignment, then it doesn't have to come back. So until we clean up and balance all our karma out, we usually have to incarnate physically until that part of our journey or assignment is done and finished. Okay, awesome, great questions tonight, really good, helpful questions. And the deja vu thing and connecting with people that, I love it too. I mean, I'm a medium and I've connected with someone that, I mean, it wasn't a coincidence. We crossed paths, and this person is like a soul family member to me. We only see each other once, maybe twice a year if we're lucky. But she has a lot of medium friends. She discovered during reading that we had a past life together. I didn't recall it because I don't remember them, but it's a fascinating thing that how that got us together, and we connect well. We're like-minded. When we do get together, it's very, very comfortable and just enjoyable. Even though we hardly see each other at all, when we do, it's just like old home. It's really pleasant. It's really nice. It's a unique kind of connection. Okay, Shilpi, you were saying about karma. So my understanding, karma has a few different meanings depending on the culture it's coming from. One interpretation of karma is experiencing from the soul. Some people assume karma to be bad only. They say karma will get you, or it's bad karma, or if you do this, karma is going to get you. Karma is both. So it's not just all negative. Karma is more of an experience for the soul. So it's balancing. When a soul comes to earth, it wants to experience both extremes. Now, both extremes means most positive to most negative. So the soul doesn't have preference. It doesn't care whether it's going to go through negative things or positive. It wants a combination of both. So it has an overall understanding. If you come down and you have everything handed to you on a golden platter and your life is easy and you know nothing about pain or discomfort, you can't have a real understanding of what it is until you live through that. So the soul wants both extremes, and karma just means experiencing for the soul, positive or negative, pleasant, unpleasant, good, bad. It's just polarity. So you have a few incarnations where everything's good and easy, and then you're going to have a few where things are tough and difficult and unpleasant. And balancing just means you even out the good and the good and bad is also a human construct. So karma is just about experiencing that the soul wants and balancing extremes or polarities. So I hope that makes sense, Shopi. I hope that helps you out. Let me know if it doesn't. Danielle, what is your take on angels? Can humans become angels? Oh, wow. Okay, that's an interesting one. That's interesting. From what I've heard, virtually every angel has never lived as a human being. They've always been angels. That's my understanding of that kind of angelic energy. They've only existed as angels and never been human. I've heard stories of one particular archangel that has been human before, but I can't confirm whether that's true or not. I don't know. I think it was Metatron, but I stand to be corrected. And again, I can't confirm or deny. But for the most part, what I mostly hear is angels have never been human before. They have no interest in personal desire. Their only desire is to serve others. They are the highest vibrating energy right below the top of the top. So if you look at the overall collection, like source or God being the very top vibration, archangels are the very next thing right below that. All they're interested in is serving others. They don't care for anything for themselves. They don't want anything for themselves. They just want to serve. That's why they're such loving, high vibrating beings. So as for humans becoming angels, to be honest, I don't know for sure, but what I do believe is that everything is energy, and I mean everything, beings, angels, guides, anything you can possibly think of and beyond is energy. And from my understanding, energy can manifest express or do anything it wants, anything it can come up with, anything it can imagine. So I don't rule out the possibility of a human becoming angel. It's just going from a certain vibration to a much, much higher vibration. So to me, it's possible. I just haven't been taught that or heard of that from anyone that's on a higher level than I am. But in my opinion, I think it's possible for humans to become angels, or sometimes known as an earth angel. They appear on the planet and they do something amazing, and then they disappear and nobody knows where they went or who they were. So for me personally, I think it's possible. I just don't know 100%, but that's my opinion. Karma equals consequence. That's another good way of putting it. Karma, you experience something and then you do something, or you choose something and then you will experience the consequence. Whatever you do, choose, think, you're going to experience the consequence of it. It's like a cause and effect thing. You can't have one without the other. If there's a cause, there's going to be an effect. It's a result. It's like karma equals a result. And I guess one way of calling the result a consequence, that makes sense too. Okay. Really good questions. Great questions. Okay, this will be a lot of help. So if you know anyone else who would find this interesting, maybe just send them the link and let them watch the replay if they find it helpful, or just send them the page link. There's been a lot of good questions asked over the last few weeks, and I think a lot of people would actually find it very interesting. We've had some very good questions tonight, so I think a lot of people would love even just listening in or reading the, hearing the answers. Shorty's question: can you also talk to gods? If you're meaning me specifically, I say yes. I do talk to various gods, ascended masters, beings, and I'm not the only one who can do that. Pretty much anybody, you can do it this as well. You can talk to anybody you choose to. You can talk to Mother Mary, you can talk to Jesus, you can talk to Krishna, Allah, Yahweh, Muhammad. You can talk to whoever you like. They will receive your messages. It's just, as I explained earlier, if they talk back to you, a lot of times most people are not trained to recognize the response from them and interpret the energy. So you can talk to whoever you choose to. Your soul is equal to your soul is the same and equal to everybody else's soul, whether it's your soul, my soul, or the soul of Jesus. On a soul level, everybody's equal. So you can talk to anybody you choose to. And some people are just able to receive, recognize, and understand the response from the gods back to us. I can do to a certain point, and then there are mediums that are on a higher level or playing field than I am that can do even more. Everybody's different, but everybody can talk to God or source or any ascended master that they wish to. Okay. When there are many people pass at the same time, do they all leave together individually? When there are many people pass at the same time, do they all leave together or individually? So if I'm understanding right, if you're talking about if a whole bunch of humans pass away or die at the same instant, do they all leave together or individually? So basically, the soul or the spirit has free will, same as in the physical, as above, so below. The soul can choose to linger around the body or be on the earth plane for a while, or it can go straight back to source, directly back to the highest level and stay there. Each soul or being, or should say, let me say, make it easier. Each dead person, when they die, they have the choice. If they're very attached to a loved one or a place, they can linger around more closer on the earth plane because they're attached in some way to someone or something. Or if they say have no family remaining or no interest or no attachments, they can just go straight to the Godhead, the top of the top, the divine, whatever you want to call it, and just stay there. So they have choice. They still have free will on the other side. So if someone was a bit of a butthead on the earth plane and they cross over, if they choose to be a bit stubborn and they don't want to learn just yet, they can still be a bit of a butthead on the other side and take their sweet time with evolving. They do have a degree of free will there as well. So they don't get forced to go straight up to God or source and just do whatever their free will is respected. So some people just choose to take longer than others to evolve, and that's their free will right and their choice. But nobody's ever written off permanently. The door's always open, no matter who you were or are, because in the highest sense, there's no real good or bad, right or wrong. There's just learning experiences. And depending on what you incarnate as and what level of understanding and how much love or not you received, that's going to determine how you behave on the planet and how long it's going to take you to learn. So God does not write anybody off ever. So if any religion teaches that, that's a man-made thing. That's just meant to kind of help guide people and keep them more in line. Okay. So Susie, as for loved ones, when they cross over, so when they cross over, the relationship connection changes. So it's no longer a possessive thing, like you are their daughter or you belong to them, or it's their only family, or they are connected to everything and everyone on the other side. So it's non-judgmental. They don't look at the people left on earth through a human perspective. They may choose to hang around them or leave them alone, but it's not like there's still a person or human on the other side. If they still have unresolved issues or need closure or acceptance or forgiveness, they tend to hang around for that as well. They can hang around for that and try and get the attention of those that are still in the living, but they don't. It's not quite the same as when they were persons. So it's not as invasive or intrusive. It's more of they use their energy to sense and feel at you. They don't have a body. They don't have physical eyes. So they view you or sense you in a different way. It sounds a little bit strange to explain, but it's not judgmental, and it's not like one human being spying in on another. It's not as invasive as that. It's more of an energy connection. So hope that that helps explain. Okay. Joanne's question. Oh, it's similar. I think you had the same. Was you that asked the same? Oh, when many people pass at the same time. Okay, so hope I answered that one entirely for you, Joanne. If not, let me know. So as I mentioned, Shilpi, you can send messages out loud or quietly in your mind to any loved one. At least you know that all your messages to them they receive immediately. It's just you're unable to receive and hear their answers. That's where mediums can be helpful. But at least when you talk to them, they receive everything. So feel free to do that whenever you feel the need. At least you know that they are getting everything you send at them. Okay. Okay. Thanks, RC. Glad it's helpful. Yeah, I'm just basically trying and make as many connections as I can. It also helps me stay a bit more disciplined and keep my spiritual muscle active and working. It's kind of like why I started the Thursday lives. It's the most challenging way for me to read because I got like 50, 60, 100 people tuning in, but it's also very good practice. It keeps me in psychic shape, so I need to do that. So that's one of the reasons I do this, is to kind of stay on task and stay tuned in and connected to people, because it's kind of like going to the gym as well. training a physical muscle. As soon as you slack off and you stop doing it, that muscle weakens. It's no longer needed to push as much and do as much work. So it's kind of like use it or lose it kind of thing. So one of the reasons I do it is to kind of stay in psychic shape. So, and also I'm glad, I want to be useful at the same time. Show people ghosts. What are ghosts? So a ghost is not necessarily always like a dead person. A ghost can also be like a consciousness or an entity that's basically, one example is like a collection of thoughts. So thoughts are things. If you find you entertain the same thought over and over and over, eventually that thought takes on a bit of an energy or consciousness of its own, and it gets more and more powerful, because the more attention you give something, the more you place it there and the more you feed it with your energy. So ghosts can be basically a collection, it can be a positive entity. It can also be a negative entity. Not all ghosts are negative. It's basically just, it's like a consciousness all on its own. So it doesn't mean it came from a human body or was a person before. You can also get ghosts or entities that are just pure energy, and they're made up of a huge collection of, say, for example, positive or negative thoughts that have just been bundled up over a period of time. It's kind of like if you get enough negative people in the room, if you combine them all together, that bundle of their energy is going to be pretty potent. Same with a group of positive people. The energy is either going to exponentially grow positively, or it's going to exponentially grow negatively. You can have both, positive or negative. And the universe has no preference. It's very impersonal. It's like yin and yang. You can't have light without the dark. You can't have daylight without nighttime. It's just polarity to the universe. So the universe doesn't favor one over the other. It doesn't have preference. It's impersonal. So there's always going to be opposites. So everything is technically, good comment, Danielle. Everything is technically neutral in the highest sense. Human beings are the ones that decide what's positive and what's negative. So my truth is different to someone else's truth. It's based on your personal experience and what you believe. So humans use right and wrong just to help compartmentalize things and to make sense of things and to make sure that they're on track. It's like it's like a compass or a guideline. Some people are more drawn to being negative because that's what they chose to experience. Some are more prone to be very, very good and positive because that's what they chose. So you can't really say a murderer is wrong and shouldn't exist and just shouldn't be allowed to be here. If that soul needs to experience some polarity, maybe it's already done a few lifetimes of positivity, and now it needs to do the opposite. It's going to come in the form of a human that's aggressive, negative, that has a closed heart center, because that's what it needs to do. That's the program it needs to fulfill that contract. So a lot of these things are predestined or pre-chosen by the soul. So because it's so unpleasant, human beings choose good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just to help us make sense of things. It's why we use words. Words is actually a very limited way of language. Energy language is infinitely more than like other languages like English, French, German. Verbal language is very, very limited. Feeling or sensory language is just a whole other thing. Animals can also, what I've also come to learn is very small kids, when they're young, like the first few years, they can see dead, deceased pets, animals, either walking or floating through the sky. Sometimes I get deceased pets coming through in readings. So the entity or ghost doesn't have to be a human form. It can be an animal. It can be a being not from this planet. It can be anything, because all it is energy. Energy can take on any shape, form it chooses. So if anything, everything is energy. Energy can do what it wants. It can take on any shape, look like anything, express anything, cause anything. There's so much we don't know. It's just, and we don't need to know it. It'll just, your mind won't be able to, our minds won't be able to handle everything. If we had to remember half our lifetimes, our minds would probably explode or be overload. So for me, I like to encourage people to just focus on this lifetime and figure out what you need to do here. Okay. RC, you connected with someone deceased and they couldn't speak. So either sometimes when I get people like that in a reading, sometimes I connect with people who either had like Alzheimer's or dementia and were literally unable to verbally communicate. That's only one instance. Another instance could be that they just want to make their presence known to you, but they don't have a specific message for you. They just want to let you know, hey, I'm here. I'm not coming here to tell you what to do or give you advice. I just want you to know I'm around you. So it doesn't always have to be a message. Sometimes I just want to be remembered, acknowledged. So those are just two examples. There could be other reasons. Those are just two that come to mind at this point anyway. So if you try and recreate the dream and go back into it and invite the person to come back and this time try interview them and question them, you can try that. It's kind of like recreating the dream. It is a technique that can be practiced. That'll depend on how much time and patience you really want to put into it. I'm not one of those people. I always say if the message is important, it's going to come at you one way or the other and you'll get it. If it doesn't come back again, don't necessarily worry about it. Maybe there is no message. It's just a greeting instead of a message or a reading. So that could be one of the reasons. Shorpy, black magic is done to harm someone on how to be protected. So black magic, if someone tries to put a spell on you, for example, it can't do anything to you unless you believe in it and allow it to. So a lot of people, when they hear that or are told that, their fear opens up the door to their belief allowing that black magic to have an effect. So if you just remember and recognize that no one can put a spell on you unless you give them permission. If you're confident enough and strong enough and you just know that your way is the best for you, if you don't let fear in, no spell can harm you. It is the fear that causes you to open the door to that energy affecting you. So no one can just do it on you. The only way it can happen is if you allow it intentionally or unintentionally through fear, for example. That's one of the biggest, the most common ways it can happen. If you let fear in, it can mess with you. If you're strong and you know who you are, no one can put a spell on you. So it's what you believe or entertain or allow. Words affect your emotions. Words are vibrations. So yep, absolutely. Words will affect your emotions. Do I enjoy movies that may contain ghost spirits or mediums, etc.? Do you get a good laugh at them? So interesting. So you know what? I don't watch TV. I don't have cable. I just don't watch TV at all. I stopped watching quite a while ago. If I do watch a movie, it's very, very rare. So I have seen a lot of movies with mediums and ghosts and spirits. It's entertaining, but it's been such a long time since I've watched any of that. I hardly ever watch TV at all. Like I said, I don't have my own cable. I have a TV that sits in my closet, and once in a blue moon, which is very rare, I may pull it out to watch a documentary, but I never really watch movies or mediums. I just don't like watching TV. I'd rather do other things. So yeah, I'm very particular with the noises. When I say noises, I mean sounds in my home and what they're coming from. So it's either got to be my tunes, my kind of music, or quiet, or I like my wind chimes. I have a wind chime in the backyard on the front porch, so that's what I like to hear. It's different, but yeah, I very much live music. I feel when I like live music because I feel the energy, not just the sound. I feel it, so I enjoy going to live music. Can I see spirits? I only see spirits in my third eye or mind's eye, so it's inner seeing. I don't see spirit with my physical eyes, and I say yet because one day I would love to. but I get everything in my mind's eye. It's kind of like when you're remembering a movie or a memory. I get it internally. That's clairvoyance. Okay. Okay, Susie, that story about, and you've probably heard many toddlers have an imaginary friend, and often cases it's not imaginary, they see spirit, and they usually are able to do that up until I think around 5 years old, maybe 6 roughly, when they go into like the school system and society, and they start getting ingrained with society's norm and instruction, they lose that. See that when they start off, they don't have a filter. Little ones can see and detect spirit as if it's normal. They think it's normal. When they start getting integrated into society, that's when they lose that ability and they develop filters because of how they are raised. So those imaginary friends are not typically, they're usually not imaginary. They're beings. So spirit guides, gnomes, fairies, angels, all of that. It's real. It's just adults don't believe them because adults don't detect them. And then, as I said, as the kid gets older, it disappears because they get taught by other people. So they develop filters. RC, how did I know this was my path? So I didn't. This is not something I would have chosen to do. I grew up Catholic, so I was Catholic right up into adulthood. And I was watching a show on Rogers TV years and years ago, and there was a medium on there, and she had her own TV channel for 5 years on the Rogers TV show, and she'd have other guest mediums on the show. And one day I just called in for fun, and I got in and I got a reading, and then I wanted to book a private reading with her. She lived one town over from me, so I called her up. I said, I want a reading, and she said, I run a meditation circle. Why don't you try it out first and see what you think? She already knew what I needed, where I needed to be. So I joined a meditation circle just to learn how to shut my mind up. My mind was very busy. I had focusing issues. So I learned how to meditate, and I was one of the slowest people in the group to learn. It took me many months. And after that, I thought, okay, I'm good, I'm done. But a few months into it, I started taking development classes. It was a foundation. So the mentor there, they offered classes. So I took 3 years of spiritual development classes. And after learning some classes, then I started doing energy healing. And then they started teaching me basic message work. And then kind of it gradually built from there. So I used to believe you're either born a medium or you're not. But it's not the case. Some people have it. It just develops later on. Some develop at a young age. Some develop, like in my case, mine developed later on in life, just before middle age. And mine was very gradual, but others can develop rapidly. One day they're normal, the next day they're blown wide open. So everyone's different. So I really didn't know until some mediums told me and helped me realize that what I was doing was actually legitimate and accurate, and I was doing it right. So that's what happened with me anyway. What does it mean to be an old soul, Shilpi? So an old soul basically just means someone that's had many incarnations. Some souls have had fewer and they appear to be newer. So old soul doesn't mean they've existed longer. It just means it's a collection of a lot of incarnations. So they carry more consciousness, more knowledge, more awareness. It would be kind of like my mentor is a very old soul, is very aware, and lots and lots of lifetimes, whereas a newer soul is basically a consciousness in a physical body that's comprised of maybe just a handful of lifetimes. So it's basically just depending on how many lifetimes or experiences have been had, that's all put together in a body. So I hope that that clarifies and makes sense, Shilpi. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So yeah. So some people, they have it early, and then when they go to school, they forget everything. And then some of them may wake up later when they're into adulthood. depending on how fast their life path or journey is. You'll notice some people are totally 3D, that they don't believe in anything outside of the 5 physical senses. Not wrong, it's just where they're at. Some people need a few more lifetimes or more time. Each soul is, every path or every soul contract is sacred. So some are waking up in this lifetime and some will not. Some will just stay 3D, and that's fine. Everybody's at where they're at. You cannot force anybody's consciousness to expand, and you shouldn't try because it won't work. You've got to basically work on your own consciousness. That's the key. All you got to do is work on yourself. Let everybody do their thing. If they ask you for help, great, but no pushing. It's better to just offer than to try and force. Even if it's an immediate family member, sometimes you need to back up or disconnect or move apart for a bit or permanently. It all depends on the situation. So there's no right or wrong. It's just everyone is so unique. So everybody's basically right based on where they're at and what they've experienced. Okay, let's see. Okay, we've had some amazing questions. Definitely got to spread the word on this. This has been probably one of the best sessions. A lot of good questions. So coming on to an hour 20, that's pretty good. So I'll stick around another minute or two. If anybody has any more final questions, I'll give it a few more minutes. I'll need to close down soonish, but last chance if you have any more questions tonight, pop them in. Otherwise, hope you'll join us next Thursday. Thanks, Josie. Hope to see you again either Thursday or Sunday. So Thursday, 7 p.m. on Facebook, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. That's Psychic Messages Live. If you just want to watch incognito or post comments, whatever you feel. For those who are hoping for a psychic message, and that's Spirit is doing the driving, they will guide me during this Q&A. At least I'm sort of more in control, if I can put it, where I can just answer and look at all of your questions. Thursdays I'm guided and directed, so I don't get to choose, but on the YouTube Sunday lives, I'll answer every single one if I can, or I'll find out for you. RZ, how do you know if someone is a fraud? So yeah, like any industry, whether you're a lawyer, a dentist, a plumber, or a medium, there's the good, the bad, and ugly, no matter what. So the best is to, first of all, research them, see if they have a website, a page, see what their offerings are, see if they, usually a medium, in my opinion, should, when I say put themselves out there, provide information about who they are, what they offer, what they do, how they work, especially if I think they should put a picture of who they are, what they look like. So for me, the more transparent a medium is, the better, just to help build some credibility. So have your face on, they should have their face or a picture of themselves, a current picture, a description of a bit about their background, like how they work, what their gifts are, what their offerings are, where you can reach them, how you can find them. The more information and the more open they are about themselves, the better. Also for reviews, I think they should have some reviews, whether it's on a Facebook page or a website or both. Some videos are helpful, like public videos, where they are basically putting themselves out there and they're telling people or sharing what they share, so that they're basically putting themselves not on the spot, but they're putting themselves out there for people to see what they're about and get a feel of what they look like, what they sound like live, what they're sharing. The more open and honest they are, the better. And also, a bit of their experience, more or less how long they've been doing it, how they do what they do. The more information about themselves they provide, I say that the better. And, no secrecy, openness, just being open and honest, what they're doing, the more information, and just like reviews, and maybe word of mouth. Do a bit of researching, maybe ask other people about them. That I find is the best way to help narrow down. And then the second part is ask your gut. Ask your gut instinct who you're drawn to and who you wish to work with. A lot of mediums are good, but excuse me, you've got to find the one that resonates with you, or everyone has their own flavor. So you may have a medium that's been doing it for 30 years and another medium that's been doing it for, say, 5 years. If you're intuitively, or if you feel drawn to the medium that's only been doing it 5 years, that means you're meant to connect with that person. You don't always have to go for the top of the top. You got to trust your gut as well. So partly is research and seeing how open and honest they are and what they're sharing, and being just totally transparent, who they are, what they sound like and look like, where they are, what they offer. And the other part is you've got to trust your intuition and feel whether you like their energy or want to work with them or not. So you could have an amazing dynamite medium, but also just not resonate or enjoy their energy and just not feel drawn to them. It does happen, and that's also not right or wrong. So that should help you out. Danielle's question, do I believe in palmistry readings? I do. So for me, it's not necessarily about the modality or the style, whether it's tarot or palmistry or astrology. All of them are very valid if they're done the right way. So for me, it's not the technique, it's the intention of the person doing it, their integrity, what their intention is. Same as tarot or mediums, you get probably phenomenal, fantastic palm readers, and you get frauds. Same as the people that copy my profile sometimes, and they message people during the live, and they say they have a message, and often I can see that sometimes part of their message is it looks like it's been scripted, or the language is bad, or you can tell it's not their first language. So for me, it's not the technique or the style, it's the intention behind it. So same, it's like an Ouija board. A Ouija board has a bad reputation, and it stirs up feelings of fear or Satanism. But from what I understand is an Ouija board is something that you should only use if you're very, very well trained and skilled in using it. If you are not, it can cause disasters and open up portals into realms that you don't want to do. So if you don't know how to use one, haven't been trained ethically and properly, don't use it. So it's not the board's fault, it's the intention behind it. So it's not the tool, everything is intention. Intention is what drives and reaches and gets the result. One of the biggest things I was taught is intention, intention, intention. That's what it's about. The tool is secondary. As many tools you can use, it's how they're used, that's all. Okay, so I'm gonna hop off and wrap it up now. So quick few seconds if anybody would like to throw in the last question before I close off. It's been a fantastic session, by the way, lots of great questions. So I appreciate that. And again, thank you for sharing and spreading the word and subscribing. And join me either on Thursday on Facebook or next Sunday, YouTube Live. Thanks for participation, and questions are really good tonight. And thanks again. Have a great week, everybody. Hope the upcoming week goes well for you. So much love, peace, and blessings, everybody. Thanks again. And we will chat next time. Okay, I think I forgot. Still working on this techie thing. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Bye for now.